permit that we have to get involved with. The major focus of it is water quality in the Chesapeake Bay watershed. Chesapeake Bay watershed extends from Cooperstown, New York, up there in the north, and covers parts of it's actually 6 states and Washington, D.C. And most of Maryland lies within the Chesapeake Bay watershed, as you can see from the map. And I always think to myself, this isn't all just about the Chesapeake Bay either. It's all, if we do things for our own local streams and water bodies, it affects water quality in your town. It's not just, some people in New York or even northern Pennsylvania are never going to see the Chesapeake Bay. So it's hard to get people to focus on it sometimes, but it's an overall water quality issue. So background on this, in 1990, the Environmental Protection Agency published regulations that would require stormwater programs. The initial phase 1 was individual permits that were required for large industrial activities and for municipalities over 100,000 in population and state highway administration. They had to get permits together and plans to reduce stormwater runoff and the associated pollution. The pollution involved with stormwater can be sediment and also all the oil and other things that are on the pavements. And so that was the initial shot, was the sort of larger entities, and sort of trying to get the worst cases underway sooner. Phase 2 was called a general permit. That became required in 1999 for smaller municipalities such as Emmitsburg and for state and federal agencies. General permits, Maryland Department of the Environment in 2003, they developed a general permit that required 6 minimum control measures. You had to have a program where you had public education and outreach, public involvement and participation, illicit discharge detection and elimination, construction site, stormwater runoff control, and post-construction stormwater management, and then pollution prevention and housekeeping. Emmitsburg's compliance requirements. We have to do an annual report describing the efforts to achieve each of those 6 required activities. The town complied initially, and then there was a couple of years when I don't think reports were done. And then when I came on board, we did some, but there wasn't always a lot of feedback from the state about what was required. So we were doing a certain level of reporting. But recently it seems some municipalities got audited by the Environmental Protection Agency, and MDE has stepped in more to provide feedback. And bottom line is the whole thing is getting a lot more attention, and we need to, by the end of the year, we need to report on what we've done in 2016 and 17 to show that the town is taking action on each of those required elements. They needed more detailed examples and more documentation of what we've been doing. And Ms. Willits and I have gone to a couple meetings, one in Walkersville and one in Frederick, to get some more input on what kinds of things count. Fairly easy thing is they just wanted, they sent us a letter detailing what things they wanted us to expand upon. And we had said in one of our reports that we have literature available on stormwater and things like not fertilizing your lawn as much because that all runs off and can cause environmental issues. And so this is a picture of our literature rack with brochures that are stormwater related. And there's another one too of the emerald ash borer. And so I've got to, actually give them some copies of those things. They wanted more information from our comprehensive plan with examples of accomplishments, things that we've already done about water quality and other environmental issues. They wanted specific information about public outreach and participation efforts, and our green team is one way that we can satisfy this requirement. One thing the green team has done is the compost bins that have been actually quite popular. What did you get? I think it was 43. They had 43 and there's just a few left. Also, there are going to be some tree planting efforts. We were trying to get one done in November, but it's going to end up being in the spring. So the green team ties nicely into a lot of these things. They wanted us to document the number of participants in these events and specific accomplishments. So they just wanted a lot more detail than we had provided before. So these were kind of the low-hanging fruit, sort of. And we just need to document it more. And now that we have a more active green team, it will be very helpful. So they also wanted to provide a recent map of the town's storm drain system. We only have to do the town streets, State Highway has their own storm drains on Main Street, so we don't have to address theirs. I've been working with Jim Click to start mapping where we have inlets like those grates, the grates in the streets, and where does the water end up, and we're working on that. We also, this is supposed to advance on the click. We have a storm drain inspections and compliance part. You can read this on your handout. The state thinks that we might need to implement a town ordinance that authorizes the town to enter on private property and eliminate any by illicit discharge, they mean if somebody dumped oil down the storm drain or something, or paint, or, and it came out somewhere else. They want us to have the ability to go on private property to fix that. And we already have easements on a lot of things, like the stormwater ponds that are in the subdivisions. We already have the ability to do that. And a lot of places where we have the drains, we actually own the land, so that's something we do need to research a little bit to see whether we really even need it or not. They want us to have, this is where it starts getting kind of cumbersome as far as taking a lot of time. They want us to develop standard operating procedures for the illicit discharge program, identify the frequency of when we do inspections, and document the inspections and report the incidents. We have not, to my knowledge, had a huge problem with the illicit discharges, but this is the standard for the state, so we are going to comply. Then provide a summary of maintenance activities. Like if something was clogged up, or we would have to just part of it is record keeping. We would have to just keep a record and submit that, anything that we had done to clear out pipes and things like that. Additional items, there's some training that there's some online training. Fortunately, it's online. It's a 4-hour course on certification for storm drain inspection, and then we would have to report the status of how many people have been trained in our next annual report. We'd need to provide a summary of collaboration with Frederick County. I thought originally that Frederick County was inspecting all the stormwater ponds, and it turns out they only do that every 3 years. So somebody's supposed to do it annually. So the town will at least be taking a look at them. So we've learned some things that, you know, as I said, I thought the county was doing those inspections every year. And then if the town owns stormwater ponds, we have to provide a summary of the maintenance activities that we've done there. If we do things like street sweeping and any inlet cleaning, training programs, we have to report that. And we have to verify that a pollution prevention plan is maintained and up to date for town-owned facilities. So any building that we own, we have to come up with a plan for pollution prevention. So, and that's what we have to do by the end of this year. We have to report anything that we've done so far and just kind of get a system in place.
From the past years or just this year?
The past 2 years. Another thing that was done previously, all those little discs that are on the storm drains that say don't pollute, that's one thing that we did in 2014. And then 2015, we had all the stormwater ponds surveyed, so we have that information. It's just, they just wanted more detail, and there were, I think, people that just kind of started paying attention more at MDE.
We also had some tree planting in Emmett Gardens in the last 2 years, I think. All the trees behind on the one side of Emmett Gardens there was planted not too far back.
It's about 2007. They were planted,
2007?
2006 or 7. They were there,
That was a long time ago.
yeah, they were there before I started
Yeah, yesterday. But
here.
also, how long has Dollar General store been here? 2 years?
How long is what?
Dollar General,
Yeah,
and they have a bio
right.
retention pond in front. And Mother Seton School had put one in also on the side of their new building.
Yeah, so we just have to document these things. But then there's the next phase, which is mitigation, which they want to, well, yeah, it's because I was having them phase in, but anyway. But we're supposed to either, if we have the opportunity, we can reduce the amount of impervious surfaces in the town. If we had some big parking lot that nobody was using anymore, and we said, well, we could remove that, then that would be something we could do. But we don't really have anything like that. So there's these sort of alternative measures we can do, like we could do a stream restoration or plant trees. We can, one idea we had is working with the school system to work on the rill here, which is where some trees were planted before, and only about 6 of them really survived out of about probably 80.
Wow.
And so trying to work, we've, Ms. Shaw and I have been working with Department of Natural Resources, the forestry section, getting a plan where to plant, and also sources of trees. Go ahead.
I know that the Basilica, or that the sisters have been planting hundreds of trees.
Can we use that kind of information?
Yeah, that's in the town too.
They really do a lot.
Yeah, and we can document all that, and private property can count toward the number of trees, and also our property up on the mountain. We've done some riprap in the stream up there to prevent erosion. So there's things we can get points for, basically, because we don't have a lot of places where you don't have to worry about that. And this is the last slide, so.
How many points do we need to get?
Well, it's a whole system with all kinds of charts,
Oh,
and it's something we may need a little bit of engineering assistance on, because it is kind of technical in, how much, if you do this, how much does that count for in terms of stormwater runoff? So another thing that I had thought of was, right now our ordinance requires everybody to do driveways that are, or parking areas that are asphalt or concrete, but there are new types of paving that are pervious,
Pervious,
it's
yeah.
called. And actually over on the new Seton Center, part of the parking lot will be done with one of those systems, where the water can actually go through the pavers and into a system which takes it over to a stormwater basin, and it gets treated rather than just running off. So that's something our ordinances could be amended to allow. Some of these, they're called BMPs, best management practices. So right now, and the planning commission had the authority to allow that on the Seton Center parking lot, so it's kind of a cutting edge thing.
I've,
For the-
I've seen it in a couple of different places already in Howard County, and it's really interesting that they have some developments that have the sidewalk in the driveways, and then I've seen some shop centers who have the paving and the little hose to gather all the water and take it to a different place, so.
The Wegman site has that, down in Frederick County.
Mm.
They have pervious parking in a number of spots there,
Oh, did it?
and bioretention capture areas between rows of parking. For the point systems, where the green bingo they're asking us to do, is everything additive, or do we find that we lose points, for example, if we have or lack something? Is it all additive?
It's primarily additive,
Okay. Okay.
so.
Do you need any action from us tonight related to this?
No, you had asked for an update at this meeting, and I said, sure, I can do that, so I just did.
Just an understanding that it's very time-consuming,
Sure.
and we have got to get it done, but also know that we may be coming back asking for engineering funds to move forward. The couple meetings we sat in on, Walkersville actually hired an outside engineering firm to do all their stuff, and they've had them attend their meetings now. We don't think that, Sipperly's doing a really good job with this right now. We don't think we're at that point, but probably the next phase, we're gonna need some outside assistance so we can gain compliance.
Yes.
Does, this system here hooked to the computer? I remember a computer or something being over there in the corner, but I didn't know if you can project just the computer onto this screen? Yes?
Now the
For
computer
classes,
is all,
if we need some training for our employees, it'd be nice to have a 4-hour class right here for them.
Oh,
Do it
yeah.
here.
yeah. Yeah, we can do training things using this system. We can just make it so it doesn't broadcast out to the public.
Right,
Okay, so we have moved through our agenda items for the most part, and I'm going to ask for your indulgence on one quick item, and I apologize, I meant to bring this up. It'll be absolutely precisely, oh, wait, nope, holiday parking, let's do that first, sorry. And I have one more thing I have a question about for the board. So, holiday parking,
Yes.
sorry.
As you know, we're coming into the holiday season. Woohoo.
Was that a
That-
cheer or a boo? I couldn't tell.
It was a woohoo.
Oh, woohoo. Okay, very good.
So, as you recall, the board always offers free metered parking to, up on East and West Main Street for a period of time. Looking back historically, what you've offered in the past, town staff recommendation for this holiday season would be free metered parking from Friday, December 15th, 2017, through Tuesday, January 2nd, 2018.
Okay, anybody have any concerns about those dates? Too short?
But I have a question.
Okay, Mr. Sweeney.
Last year, anybody who had put money into the meters was dedicated to the Community Heritage Days. I'd like for that to happen again this time if we can, but we will not advertise it on the meters. That way, most people will put it in if they don't know it's free money. If they don't live here, they don't get put the money in it. But every little bit helps.
We do advertise it. We'll put it on Facebook and 99 in the
I think
website.
last year we put signs on
Right, you
meters.
put stickers on, and it was significantly lower
Yeah.
than years past. So,
The
I
danger of
mean,
transparency, huh?
we will post it.
There goes
It
open
goes,
meetings.
it'll go in, said the 99 and website and Facebook.
Well, would we want to add a week then, just to see if we could recover some? Or do we lose that
Then
much
you're
income?
losing town revenue.
Well, that's kind of where I'm
Right,
going
I
on
think
that,
this,
so-
I mean, you're looking
Okay,
at
15 days.
well, it's over 2 weeks.
prime shopping time, sure.
Right.
Okay, all right. So, is there a motion to accept the dates as presented? And I guess I'll ask you if you could mention the dates specifically.
December 15th to January 2nd.
Correct.
I move that we have free parking for December 15th to January 2nd.
Free metered parking.
Free metered
Free
parking,
metered parking
okay. With the funds going toward,
towards the Community Heritage Days.
Okay.
That's collected.
all right. Is there a second for Mr. Sweeney's motion?
I'll second.
The motion's been made by Commissioner Sweeney, seconded by Commissioner Ritz. Is there any further discussion? Okay. Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries 5-0. Okay, so here's where I need your indulgence, and I'm sorry I didn't bring this up with my comments earlier, because there's sort of a question related to this, somewhere between administrative business and commissioner comments. Frederick County's Planning Commission is going through its bicycling and pedestrian comprehensive plan works. I last reported to you guys that I attended a meeting on April 11th, and at that time I shared, and I showed you the letter, that Emmitsburg would like to see in time a route connecting us to both Frederick City and to the C&O Canal, with the idea that it would connect the Great Allegheny Passage tourism to Gettysburg in time. And that's literally a multi-million-dollar tourism industry that exists strictly on the C&O Canal right now. Okay, with that in mind, in reviewing the county cycling comprehensive plan as presented, they do endorse openly the town-university connection, which has hit a snag in funding at this point in time. So the town-to-gown link, okay, that is endorsed in this plan, but there was no mention whatsoever of the town of Emmitsburg being linked to both Frederick City and Frederick City being linked to the C&O Canal. Now, backing that up, another thing that I brought to you guys was, I believe it was March, April, I attended the Maryland State Highway Department of Natural Resources Maryland Pedestrian Bike and Trail Plan meeting. And the route that I'm talking about from Emmitsburg to the canal was voted upon by, the entities who were there, and they were many, as a priority item, meaning it was like a top 1, 2, 3 vote getter. It was the top vote getter, and the second one was a rail to trail connected, ultimately, I believe, connecting to Thurmont, the trolley line, but expanding that to Frederick. So it kind of aligns with what I'm asking us to consider. I've put together a letter where I'm asking that the connection be directly mentioned between Emmitsburg, Frederick City, and the canal, and that I want to create an institutional memory in this plan so that this is seen as a priority, because it would give us a great recreational opportunity. It would enhance tourism. It's a healthy thing. It would also, in my view, align with our town-university connection. So in the long run, I think we would benefit on a variety of different fronts. So would the board be comfortable endorsing this idea, okay, of supporting the town-university connection, The town connection to Frederick and the C&O Canal. Are you guys comfortable with that?
I'm comfortable,
Okay.
yes.
Now, a third item, and this is not, not a required thing, okay? I will do the first two. The third one for consideration would be, there was a mention of adding cycling to the Frederick County Public School physical education curriculum. Do you have any position or opinion related to that?
It'd be a great idea if they could do it.
Would you support the idea of us
Yes.
endorsing that?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Sweeney, you're okay?
Is
Okay,
that on
Rich?
like all grades, Frederick County?
I'm not sure quite, I think that's something we would hand off to the Frederick County Public Schools, but just adding it to
Any
their.
inkling or just to
Correct.
add it? Okay.
Just, and again, my feeling is if we have it documented in this language, it would be put toward institutional memory. So in time, it's seen as something recognized as a priority in time. It doesn't mean funding is imminent. It just means this is something we want and we would like to see happen. Is that reasonable to the board? Okay, all right, thank you. All right, so that would be it. And now I'll turn to staff if you have anything for our next agenda.
Oh, yeah, I already put my stuff away.
Woo-hoo,
No meeting.
Meeting.
close.
All right, I have 3 items. I have, item number 1 is a resolution adopting the Frederick County Hazard Mitigation Plan, presentation by the Department of Emergency Preparedness of Frederick County. This all ties in together with your emergency operations plan and becoming a partnership with the county on their readiness plan. This is the first step in it. Second will be an update on the upcoming lagoon storage operations at the wastewater treatment plant. And then finally, do you want the service line warranty brought back for consideration? If so, I would say for consideration, the National League of Cities Service Line Warranty Program.
Okay, do you guys want that for December?
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
Mr. Sweeney, we have 2 folks in favor. Are you in favor?
Good,
Okay.
we're good.
All right, very good. Okay, so. Okay. Any administrative business items or any other main agenda items?
No.
Okay. For administrative business, I'd like to bring back information related to the NICA meeting, the bicycling group, just to give you an update on that item.
You need to kind of
Oh,
spell that out for staff.
sure, I will. Let me get the full name here. National Interscholastic Cycling Association. I have it all here for you, the name. But National Interscholastic, one word, Cycling Association.
Is it a presentation?
Just basically an update on their visit.
Okay.
So for administrative business. And as a second item, I'd like to show you guys the promotional videos related to the trails to get people to come visit and volunteer in town.
Is the mayor bringing popcorn?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Buttered
Yes,
or Old
absolutely.
Bay, you know?
Both.
Oh, I like the cut of your jib, sir. All right. Anything else? Administrative business?
Just one thing.
Mr. Mayor?
This is Miss Willett's 1-year anniversary as town manager.
Oh, it is?
Ooh.
Really? Yeah.
Oh, well done. Very good, very good. Here, here,
Made
here,
it.
I made it, all right.
here. Yeah, right? Right. Or,
you.
or should we say woo-hoo?
Yeah, woohoo.
Very good. Okay, so at this time for the agenda, we have the Frederick County Hazard Mitigation Plan as it relates to the county readiness plan. We
No,
ha-
just,
Hazard
it's just a
mitigation.
resolution adopting the Frederick County Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Okay. All right. The lagoon storage operation at the wastewater treatment plant, what are we,
Update?
update? Okay. All right. And the National League of Cities water line,
National League of Cities
what do you say?
Service Line Warranty Program.
Is that what you're saying? Okay. Service line warranty program For
Yes.
consideration?
For consideration.
Is that what we want, board? Okay, the vote? Okay,
know.
all right, very good. Okay. And for administrative business, we have the NICA update and the promotional videos. Which will
How
just,
long are those videos?
they're 90 minutes each, but you'll, no, like 2 minutes each. Goodness gracious. Yeah, there'll be limos, lights, Klieg
Just
lights.
curious.
I want a crash
Red
course
carpet.
bike video.
Okay,
And
and that would be it.
Just a-
All right, so, is there a motion to close the meeting?
There's no vote.
Make a motion to close the meeting.
Very good, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Blanchard, seconded by Commissioner Ritz. Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 The meeting closes at 9:45 PM.